Okay, this is your next door neighbor, and this is my last message. This is kind of a part two to the message I just said, and it has to do with it's pretty much the enemy being revealed as to who he is. We want to talk about how he works and how we work. Okay. Now, I want you to think about this. I want you to imagine, I don't know if you've ever been a victim of cybercrime. And again, the scripture that I'm dealing with is, we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities and powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. Again, that's Ephesians 6, verse 12. I was quoting from the KJV version, which is King James Version, for those that don't know. And that's in the New Testament. Okay. Now, I want you, we naturally, I know you want to say there's no God, I don't believe in God and things like that. Whether you like it or not, there's good and bad in this world. And I've already visited that in one of my previous, previous videos. Okay. So we've already addressed the fact that you can't be good without God. We've already established that. Okay. So moving on from that and building, you say you want to live your life without God. There's no God. However, you try your best to live in the best neighborhoods. You are looking for places where you can live a good life. Some of us, we want to live in a good apartment. We're looking for good. Why is it that you look for good? What is the reason why you look for good? Because bad, conversely, is dangerous. You try to make sure you eat good food. Why do you look for good food? You want to make sure you have the good food, pure food. Why? Because the bad food is harmful to you. Okay. So you try to find the best neighborhoods. You try to eat the best food. You try to go to the best schools, because if you don't look for good, the best possible, it can be harmful to your future. It can be harmful to your health. And so you look for good. I don't know if you've ever been a victim of cyber crime. After you've been a victim of cybercrime, you are naturally going to take precaution to make sure it doesn't happen again. Does that sound right? You're going to make sure that you take some precaution to make sure it does not happen again. So you put some certain type of softwares that protects you from evil, or from being harmed again. You know how hard it is when you're a victim of cybercrime, where they've taken your identity, digitally they've done things that has caused you to lose a lot of money, your reputation, your credit, so much things that they've done. You make sure you take the precaution that it will never happen again. I want to tell you that God is coming soon. And he is going to destroy evil, and evil will never come back again. That's what it says in the scriptures. It will never come up again. So I want to let you know that if you are still holding on to evil, if you are still holding on to those bad habits, those things you know you shouldn't be doing, if you know that you're still doing that, I want to encourage you to release it and let it go. I don't want you as my neighbor to be rewarded with the devil. for what he deserves and what he rightfully deserves for all the deceit and the things that he's done. I don't want that to happen to you. Okay. Another thought that had come to me that I wanted to share, I had an analogy about it. When your mom and dad, and this is talking about revealing the enemy again. So let's say your mom and dad, or let's say bosses or somebody, the higher ups that are involved in whatever they're doing, get into a disagreement or have some type of disagreement. They don't let the children get involved. They don't let the children know what's going on. I want you to think about why you don't let your children know when you guys are having disputes, when the people of authority, like managers having disputes with each other, mom and dad is having a fight, or like government officials within the office, let's say the White House, one department is having a disagreement. Why don't they let us know about these things? Let's start out with children and then we can unpack that. If the children know that the parents are not getting along and there's fight, things happen, and so you try to protect them and not let them know, what's going to happen? If they know that bad things are happening between the parents and things like that, they may start crying. They can get scared. They can get insecure. They might even blame themselves and think somehow they've contributed to it. Some of them might even lash out. So you do not want them you don't want them to be exposed to the bad things that's going on between you and the spouse, or within management. You don't want them to know what's going on, to protect them because you love them. Now, I want you to think about this in the reverse. Think about this in the reverse. And I want you to think about this. What reason would the enemy have for not letting you know who he is? Is it because he loves you or to protect you? No. The enemy does it to protect himself, because he doesn't want to be revealed. Because if you know who he is, you will lash out. You will cry and you'll fall away. You'll run away from him because he's evil, and everyone knows that. No, when you hear devil, naturally you know you don't want to be around him. So to protect himself, it's not about you. He's protecting himself. He doesn't want you to know evil, that he's the author of it. See that? So we're coming back to knowing who the key players are. That's how he works. He hides himself. He cloaks himself in goodness. In the last days, it says that someone is going to come looking like an angel of light, seeming so good. It even says that sometimes he will do miracles that will convince you that he's a good person. It even says that for those that were deceived, sometimes even they will use the spirits of dead relatives to deceive many. Let me explain something to you. It's so important that you understand what happens when a person dies, because if you believe that the spirit of your relative is in heaven right now, then it's very easy for you to be deceived in the last days when you see these spirits that look like your relatives. I'm going to unpack that and go more into it. But the point is, this is part 3 of the enemy being revealed. Stay tuned for more.